Alright, welcome to Clipstudio EX animation tutorial. I'm going to show you how the different kind of animation files that Clipstudio can make. It's more than one type. They all behave similarly, but there is the new animation file. You can I usually default to 1920 1080. That's the movie screen format. You can play that in an IMAX theater. It's pretty large. Right now, a lot of computers are already at this spec, so they're just only gonna get bigger. So we're just gonna do this one, but I don't usually use this format, and I'll tell you why in a moment. See, they create one shot, and you can create a different shot. You can make a new from clipboard, and they will wait. Oh, never mind. Okay. They can make a series of shots in this one folder, in this one file, just like the comic sequencing that they do. For my job currently, I don't need it quite yet, and because not every one of my assistants have the EX version, so we will go to the other option, which is opening up and something as a pure illustration, and you will see that this is a background that I already made, and I will use this for this tutorial. And the paper canvas, you really can't draw on it, it's just there. And to make an animation out of a background with simple still illustration, what you want to do is first click on this animation folder, and anything you draw in the animation folder will become an animation. But when you just do that, you won't really see it just yet. And so in order to see it, you have to click on timeline, a new timeline. Let's say we'll do 3 seconds. And this timeline, you can name it anytime, anything you want. For the efficiency purpose, we'll do frame rate at 12. If you just time 2, it will become 24. So that way we can save space, and it's just a common practice of the regular web animator nowadays. We're going to recompose our images in sequences in After Effects later for all the effects that After Effects can offer, but not in Clipstudio. And then we click OK. Okay, once you see that, you won't really see the timeline will automatically be created on a regular folder, regular layer, but not the folder. The folder is empty right now. And it's really easy to just create a drawing from that. So just right click on your mouse and just select that one drawing that you have in your folder. Here, if you make 2 drawings, it will become 2. They will actually tell you how many drawings you have in the folder. I like that function because that way I can tell how many drawings my animators actually drew when I am about to pay them. I count by drawings. Then you can make drawing 2. So for the sake of illustration purposes, I will just draw something really quick right now. It's a scene that I keep having in my mind. For my manga sensu, I think I might actually use it. Kinda want to create something that's useful in the tutorial too. This is Tiansong, and he's just looking at us, at the viewer, looking deflated after a long day. I came from Taiwan, so during the time of middle school, our long day is maybe 9 classes out of 10 we have quiz or test. It's just we all roasted chicken because we were tested all day. Alright, So we have one drawing right now, and then we want to go to the next drawing. Just right click and 2, and he disappears. So in order to see him again, want to turn on enable the onion skin. By default, the onion skin only goes one drawing behind and one drawing forward. So let's say if I make a tree right now, drawing 3, I did set it on a different skin. You won't be able to see it if I go further. If I say 4, there's a 4, then you don't see it anymore, because I do 2 drawing ahead and 2 drawing behind and 1 drawing behind right now. So if you want to see the drawing, first drawing on drawing 4, you go into show animation cells at this little thing right here. This little button is not easy to see, but there's a lot of options here. You don't want to miss it. And you can go into onion skin setting. You see that my previous frame I see 2, I can do 3, and next frame 1. That way on 4 I can still see the first frame. And okay, now so if I draw the number drawing 1, but I want drawing 1 to be drawing 4, but I made then I feel like I have made a mistake. I want to adjust it, and it doesn't really in the animation folder, for some reason they don't really let you copy and paste it unless you remove it outside. But I have found an easier way to do it. Just rename drawing 4 as 1 and rename 1 as 4, then just move it. Then now drawing 4 has my drawing and drawing 1 is empty. And I want to see drawing 1 to show drawing 4, then I want to can see 2 or 3 drawings behind. Then I can do drawing 1, I can twin it. I'll encourage not everybody draw this way, but I learned this from the Japanese animators that drawing clean is a pretty important practice. You want to, when you first draw clean, it's actually very slow. At the beginning, you will feel like you're progressing really slowly, versus being rough. Being rough is good for practice, but not good in work situation when other people have to read your rough drawings and don't know which line you actually want. They may ink that line completely different from how you intended it to be. So I suggest erase any line when you are animating, any line that you don't want anybody to ink it, unless you are the one inking everything or coloring everything. Then you are allowed to be as rough as you want to be. Or if you're a big shot, even if you're a big shot, I think people prefer your drawing be clean. You will have to ink it yourself anyway. So it's good to practice to be clean from the get-go. Less line is more. Like what my drawing teacher liked to say. Less is more. Draw less. Okay, I'm almost done with this drawing. Drawing nice for tutorial actually takes more time, but people like looking at nice pictures. Alright, for tutorial purpose, I'm just not gonna make it perfect. Alright, so if you have found that you need more drawings in between the two, and you didn't save enough drawings in between after you did your keyframes, what you can do is you can go to 3 and you can extend it, move the frame back and forth like that. If it's selected, you'll see the red line, and then you go select 3, you make another new drawing, new layer, you will automatically be renamed 3A. If you don't like it, you can rename it again and they will be placed in there properly. You say if it's 5, it turns to 5. I can rename this as 4. Don't want to use 3A, 3B, that kind of name until it's the last step that you don't have any other options, because after it runs out A, B, C, D to Z, the program starts to go layer 1, layer 2, layer 3. That's when things start to get really messy. You don't want that, especially on animation. You want everything clean, neat, orderly, because it's a train wreck. Animation is like a train. If the first train goes wrong, the next train is gonna go wrong too. So you want to make sure you lay out your file, names, and everything neatly. Alright. Now you can go to in between and do an in between. I like to use the nose as the center point. Then I like to use the eyebrows. You can use, when you're in between, there's one thing that you do need to pay attention to is your actual drawing, because when you are paying attention too much to the drawing behind and the drawing that's before you sometimes end up not drawing right for the drawings that you are working on, because you're trying too hard to make something work. I will have him blink on this one. You want to adjust it so that drawings are neat. If you're still finding your line, it's okay to be a little bit rougher. But whatever you're handing to the next person, if there's no next person after you, it's okay. But whatever you're handing to the next person, you want it to maintain neatness. So the earlier you practice clean animation, the better. The thing I love about 2D animation is you don't have to always be correct or perfect. As long as the shape morphs, the shapes is working in sequence, something funny can happen, it will still make sense. Like with the hair, because it's really just read as a shape. As long as the shape transforms correctly, smoothly, doesn't have to be correctly, smoothly, you will read just fine. In 2D animation, you cannot do that in 3D. Okay, here we go. Then the rest is just some tedious twinning that I don't want you to suffer looking at me doing it slowly for. Alright, this is a gist of it on how to animate simply in Clipstudio. And if you want to color, ink and color it, right then and there in the animation folder, you're welcome to. Make a new folder under the animation folder and name it properly. And your drawing is showing up there. And then you can make a vector drawing that becomes an ink drawing, and you can use either your shape or your pen tool, and after you ink it, I like to use vector for really long curves because they are extremely hard to make. But for things like face, eyes, I really like working with the pen. can turn the one awesome feature of Clipstudio. Turning canvas is easy. And it's a traditional animation practice that we do the shadow on a different layer. And I'll do it as I'll do it with gray right now. And I can color it here. You can set it as, right now I don't need it that dark. You can set it as multiply, then later on if you color it, you'll see. I'll just ink one to show you. We'll do line block. Line block is I don't know what's the official name for it, but we block out the whites for the colorist, so that's easier for them to color, so the color process is faster. Okay, back to inking. Oh, shit. The good part is that this is vector, so I can adjust it as vector. And if something is wobbly, you can delete control point. Usually if it's organic line, you will have more control point than you want. You can delete the unneeded ones, then it will remove the wobbly feel. Of course you can also, I should play with the brush setting so that the line will come out smoother by default, but right now what I prefer is something a little bit more natural looking, so I'm not tweaking with it yet. And as we know, Clipstudio has this don't like that curve. Okay. Clipstudio has this delete option if something goes wrong. And you can move it so that they are joined. That's the upside of inking in Vector. You can delete stuff, move stuff, extra stuff can be removed, moved can be like adjusted. Easier to get that perfect line without keep erasing, keep redrawing. Okay, the back of his head is one of those large curves. That's when I start to use the curve tool. I set it on continuous curve. It's a little easier to keep going with that setting. And curve usually doesn't default come with settings of thickness and thinness. They are all even, so it's a little bit more boring. So if you want to change that, you can go to redraw factor line width and change that. Yeah, doesn't have to be that big. Then there will be some thickness differences. Alright, finish inking. The node is done. Now I can turn off the sketch and the background. Now it's time to color. Color. I name every layer. Please get into the habit of naming every layer. Please do not torture people like me who need to look at your animation file or somebody else's animation file and not know which is which. Okay. All my animators and workers are pretty good about that, which I'm really grateful for. And there's one thing I really like to do for shadow. I like to pick a different color after I did it. Let's see. Let me see. Let's pick. That's nice. I like it. A little bit more saturated in the shadow always look very nice. Alright, let's go with this hair color. I haven't decided Tiansong's hair color in the anime. Look. Maybe it should be a slightly blue. We Asian like to, because our hair is just black, okay? It's really boring. We like to either make it purple black, or blue black, or brown black, or green black. This is why you see them in all different weird colors. Okay, in this case, I'm picking brown black for now because this scene is largely orange, yellow-ish. And you can actually fill in faster if you just fill the gaps with your color. Just draw it. I remember you can collapse things. Never mind. Only in a folder. Okay. I wanted to look a bit melancholy. Life is so boring. So unexciting. Just test after test. Study after study. Going through mundane school. That's the feeling I want to express here. He's the class captain. And Tiansong's the class captain, and he suffers from all the responsibilities that he doesn't want. Okay. Let's do something simple for now. Japanese eyes, Japanese anime style eyes just get more and more complicated. I'm gonna stay simple for now, just 3 colors. Thank you. Let's do a little slight gray. Everything is gray. Okay, there we go. Yada. Alright, that will be one drawing completed, and you get the gist of it. Now complete 4 or 5 more drawings, yay! And imagine it's 20 drawings. On average, every sequence the sequence I handle is about 20 drawings to 30 drawings. Yeah. Anyway, then this process repeated until we output it into After Effects. The good part about Clipstudio is that you can export animated GIF right away. You can export at any size. Let's export at 900 for now. It's completed. And let me call up the drawings. Where did I export it to? Oops. Oh, there we go. There it is. This is of course not the finished product, but you kind of get the gist of it. And in the finished final animation product, I will usually throw in a blur, throw in some pretty glare, the beauty glare, as Japanese call it, to make the scene far more emotional and more gradients and stuff like that, the beauty touch up. Okay, that's it for this simple tutorial. I hope you have learned stuff. Let me know if you have any questions or you want me to cover anything else. Thanks.